Good morning and welcome to our Veterans Day Assembly. I am Victoria Toll, a member of the Tomahawk Middle School Student Council. Our theme this year is the quest for liberty. Each year we come together to celebrate all of our armed forces, including the American Reserves and Guards. Thank you, Mr. Marin and the high school band, for playing America, Sweet Land of Liberty.
Hello, my name is Avery Sukamel, and I am also a member of the Tomahawk Middle School Student Council. Victoria and I will be your Masters of Ceremony today. Please welcome Miss Boulder, our Tomahawk Middle School principal.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our annual Veterans Day program. A lot of hard work and time goes into planning this event, and I want to begin by recognizing all of the people from multiple organizations who have given their time to make this event possible. Please direct your attention to the back of the program. This committee is made up of volunteers from our local veterans organizations and the School District of Tomahawk. Committee members that are in attendance today, please stand if you are able and be recognized. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we gather to pay tribute to the brave men and women who have served our nation and to educate our students about the significance of this day. Veterans Day is a special day on our calendar. It is a day when we pause to recognize and express our deep gratitude to the individuals who have dedicated their lives to protecting our freedom and preserving the values we hold dear. Today we come together as a community to learn from our veterans and to honor their sacrifices. Our theme for today's program is the quest for liberty. The sacrifices, courage, and dedication of our veterans have allowed us to enjoy the many liberties we sometimes take for granted. We remember those who served in times of peace and in times of conflict, whether at home or abroad, to protect the liberties that we hold dear. Your commitment to duty, honor, and country is a shining example to everyone here today. On behalf of the School District of Tomahawk, we want to convey our most heartfelt thanks to those who have answered our nation's call. We are forever grateful to the brave men and women who, through their sacrifice, make our way of life possible. Thank you all for attending, and we hope that you enjoy our program.
Please stand in silence for the presentation of colors, showing respect by facing the flag and saluting or holding your right hand over your heart. Stay standing while the chamber choir sings the Star-Spangled Banner, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. The choir will now sing Battle Hymn of the Republic.
would now like to welcome Officer Matt Gorell, United States Marine veteran.
All right. Well, right off the bat, I'd like to say that this is just a phenomenal, wonderful thing that we do in this community here. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that I can be a part of this with you here today, this morning. Wonderful music. You guys did a great job. I'd like to acknowledge that right off the bat. It was just a great start to this ceremony today. And we have some really cool things that I want to talk with you about this morning. I'm excited to speak with you about it. And it is a big day. It's a big day for veterans. There's a lot of really important things that we'll discuss together here. And I'm not going to keep you too long. We'll keep it fairly brief. But I think we can talk about some really true and important things in this time we have together. And do we have any, I know there's many former service members here, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. I was a Marine. And so today, it's not only Veterans Day that I celebrate, but it's also the Marine Corps' birthday today. So any fellow Marines here in the house, I'd just like to say happy birthday. All right. Yeah, all right. So I'm from the Stevens Point area, but I was born and raised here in Wisconsin, not too far from where we are now. Now I've lived in the Northwoods for about 15, 16 years now, but I came from a very patriotic background, and my family always celebrated hard work, people that worked for what they had and appreciated what they had. And we also always appreciate and value a life of service and serving other people. And those values were passed down to me from my late father, Stephen Gorell. So what kind of work do I do now? I'm a police detective with the Tomahawk Police Department. I've been working here in Tomahawk in that role for about the last 5 years. And so some of you may know me from my job here or just from the time I spent in the community. It's not a huge place in Tomahawk. There's a high likelihood that we've crossed paths maybe once or twice. So if you do know me, it's great to see you this morning, great to be here with you. And if you don't, you're just meeting me now, I'm just very happy to be in front of you and to meet you. So I've worked in law enforcement, like I said, for about, well, going on 16 years. And in that time frame, I've had the opportunity to work with some really phenomenal people, some truly selfless people. And I worked for the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. That's where I started my career. I was honored, I had the honor of working with the Sheriff's Office for about 8 years. And after that, I worked as a police officer down in the village of Cronenwetter for a few years. And that was also a wonderful experience. There's just so many phenomenal men and women that we have serving these communities in that capacity as police officers, as first responders, as firefighters. And I'd like to acknowledge them as well. But so my current work assignments and duties here in Tomahawk are in an investigative capacity. I speak with a lot of people. I meet a lot of people. And I talk to people sometimes about things that aren't pleasant to talk about. It's difficult things to talk about. And I investigate different things where people may have been victims of crimes or had something bad happen to them, or they just need help with something. And I cherish that role. I like being a part of the community, and I like to know that I can help someone else when they need help. I like to know that they can lean on me or they can rely on me if they need something. And I also have some different roles at the police department. I consider myself to be a weapons expert. I fancy myself that way. But I serve as the firearms instructor for the city of Tomahawk in the police department. I also serve as our emergency vehicle operations instructor. And so it's my duty, and I take this very serious, that fellow police officers, peers, and people that I work with, that they're all safe when they're operating their vehicle, when they're using their service weapon or their firearm. the safety of those things is paramount because we're here to serve this community and serve you, the people that live here. And we take that very serious. I take it very serious, and so I'm very excited to have that role at my job. So I've worked in some very stressful situations, and I've had some serious incidents come up and happen while I've worked here. And being a part of those incidents, sometimes I'm pushed to my boundary. I'm pushed to my limits sometimes. There's times where I feel very stressed and I have anxiety about some of the things that come up and some of the problems that happen in the city of Tomahawk. But let me tell you this morning, there was no challenge that was more difficult or more rewarding for me than my military career and service. Now, I had mentioned this briefly, but I was a United States Marine. I served in the Marine Corps, and I'm very proud of that fact. And my military service and experience, they serve as a foundation for me in my work and my family life, and I rely on that foundation even today. So you can probably guess this, but after graduating high school, I did enlist in the United States Marine Corps. Like many of the guests we have here this morning, service members that we have here this morning, I enlisted from my hometown in Stevens Point. And one of the things that I remember prior to my enlistment was some of the things that motivated me to be patriotic and to want to serve my country. I don't know if this is still popular with some of the younger people here today, but when I was a younger guy, man, I liked G.I. Joes. And I liked the Rambo action figures and some of the patriotic movies and the movies that documented military service. I was just fascinated by that stuff. I thought it was just the most desirable thing to be a part of. And I remember some of the commercials for the Marine Corps back when I was younger from that time. And I remember how cool they were. I don't know if any of you would remember this one, but there was a commercial, and it starts off with this big chessboard, just a giant chessboard the size of this room, and all the chess pieces and characters on the board were knights and queens and mages and different characters, and they were battling each other on this chessboard. And at the very end of that commercial, one of the characters turns into a Marine, and he's got a sword, and he brings it up to his head, and it says, "The few, the proud, the Marines." And so I saw that commercial, and I was hooked. Ooh. So there are some other Marine Corps sayings that are also just surely unforgettable. For instance, one of them is, "Once a Marine, always a Marine." And that's something I hang on to because no one can ever take that from me. That experience, that service, that's something that I can always cling to. And that time that no matter how tough things get, how rough things are, I can remember that and fall back on that and say, you know what, I can do this. And now I just want to cover another interesting thing about the Marine Corps, and I learned this shortly after becoming a Marine, that in World War I, during a very, very difficult and just treacherous battle, this is World War I, and this battle occurred in France, and it was called the Battle of Belleau Wood. And during this battle, there was so many hard-charging Marines, tough Marines, leathernecks they called them, and they earned the nickname, Devil Dog. They were so ferocious, they were so fierce, and they were so formidable in their fighting that their German counterparts gave them that nickname. I just think it's so interesting. And, typically today we don't celebrate certain things like maybe a nickname, but as a Marine, I always took that as an honor to think that the men and women that came before me were so good and so proficient at their job that they had nicknames that lasted the test of time. I've spent time in other parts of the world. I've traveled to many different countries. During my time in the Marine Corps, I had the opportunity to train in France, I had the opportunity to train in Italy, in Greece, in many different European countries I was able to traverse and visit, and it was just an outstanding, wonderful time, and I have so many great memories from that. And the time that I spent overseas also gave me this opportunity and privilege. It provided me with the ability to know just how great our country is, how wonderful we have it here. So seeing how people lived outside the United States, it really allowed me to understand just how fortunate we are and how great we have it here to enjoy some of the freedoms that we now possess. So while I was in the Marine Corps, I completed 2 deployments. And for those of you that were wondering, like, well, what's a deployment, Matt? Well, a deployment is a tour of service that you complete in the military, and that means you were outside of the United States. You were somewhere else. You were deployed somewhere. And so I did that 2 times, and one of those I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. That occurred in 2003. Now I look at that moment in my life and some of those experiences I had in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and what I forever remember and hold dear to my heart are some of the sacrifices and men and women that I served with during that time. Some of the most phenomenal people that I'm blessed to have served with them. And some of their courageous and selfless acts remain with me to this day. Now, even as I'm standing before you, I'm truly humbled by the courage and dedication that I was truly blessed to witness in my fellow Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, and countrymen. Now, if you want to be a successful Marine or successful in the Marine Corps or in the military in general, you're going to need to have a strong body. You're going to need to have a disciplined mind. And you have to put other people in front of yourself. You'll place someone else's needs in front of your own needs. So let's talk about that. What does it mean to serve your country? Well, it's the act of helping someone or putting someone else's needs in front of your own needs. And that's what it truly means to serve. One of the most intelligent, well, I'll just say he's the smartest man probably to ever live, Albert Einstein, was quoted as saying, "Only a life lived in the service of others is a life worth living." Let's break that down. What does that mean? That means the true value and fulfillment of your life is not experienced through your own wants, through your own personal expectations, or some of our selfish desires that we have, but our value is achieved when we commit ourselves to uplift others and put their needs in front of our own needs. So that is what it means to serve your country. And that's what we're gathered, and that's why we're gathered here this morning to celebrate this Veterans Day. We're here to honor and celebrate those people who have made the choice to put someone else's needs before their own. In another great book, I'm very fond of this book, one of the authors in the book, he states, "There is no greater love than this, that a person would lay down his life for the sake of his friends." Another way to describe that quote is to sacrifice. Now that word sacrifice has already come up a few times this morning. It's going to be a common theme throughout this Veterans Day. And you see, you can't serve someone else or something else without sacrificing something of yourself. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever done something for someone or helped someone and it made you feel good inside? Some of the best feelings or situations that we experience, they happen when we're serving or helping another person. I know, I can say from personal experience, for me, that some of the best times that I can remember, that I cling to, even when times are the toughest for me, and I'm dealing with something really difficult or really hard, I can help someone else, and that's an instant way out of that feeling that I have. Because helping someone else is the ultimate sacrifice. So there are so many times where we get hyper-focused on what we want or maybe what we think we need or what we think we deserve. And our own desires can sometimes even control the way we think. It can control our thoughts. And that's why one of the most brilliant and wonderful gifts you can give to another person is when you help them without expecting anything in return, just for the sake of helping. And that's the mindset of a veteran, truly, that's the mindset. So let me ask you, when was the last time that you helped someone in your family? When was the last time that, without expecting anything in return, you just helped one of your friends? When was the last time you just helped another person just for the sake of helping? I want you to ponder those things just for the next few minutes. And we're going to talk about liberty. We all enjoy freedoms that we're given as citizens of the United States. We have so many opportunities, whether we want to admit it or not. Things are pretty great here. We have so many opportunities. We have so many things available to us, so many resources. So many truly great things happen here that we take so much of it for granted. And we benefit and enjoy these liberties on a daily basis. And there are times, like I said, we take some of that freedom for granted. So you might be thinking, well, what liberty, what freedom am I referring to? Well, here's just a few things. You can go where you want to go. Visit where you want to visit. You can say what you want to say to someone else. You don't have anyone else telling you, hey, you can say this, but you can't say that. No, you have that freedom, that liberty. And you can spend time with who you choose. You make that choice. You can choose to spend time with someone that's going to help you and lift you up, or you can make other choices to spend time with someone that might make things more difficult for you. You're in control of your destination in the United States. That rests with you. So that liberty and those freedoms that I just discussed with you, they were bought for you at a price. They cost something. And I'm grateful to say, with so much enthusiasm and excitement, that veterans of this great country, veterans that you have in this building with you right now, here together, they helped pay that price for those freedoms. So I just want to say, let's keep their sacrifice close to our hearts and respect the rights of others to pursue their freedoms, their liberties. Sometimes in life, it's easy for us to get judgmental. We see someone else doing something that we don't think they should do, or maybe that we wouldn't do, and we say, oh, they shouldn't do that, and we try to tell them what we think, and we try to control them with what we want them to do, but that's not how this country works. You're not in control of someone else, like I said. They're in control of their destiny and what they do. And that is the liberty that our veterans help secure for us. So finally, I want to speak with you about respect. It seems like a simple thing that we should all understand, but what does it really mean to respect someone? What does it really mean to honor someone else? Respect is that deep feeling of admiration for someone else, someone who has the highest qualities, someone who has the highest abilities. One of the most significant decisions and sacrifices a person can make is to serve their country. Whether you served in the Marine Corps, in the Navy, in the Army, in the Air Force, in the Coast Guard, or any other branch, that service comes with a significant sacrifice. I just want to challenge all of you this morning. We must respect and honor the veterans of this great country. If you know someone who has served or is currently serving in the armed forces, take the time to thank them for their service. It's the very least we can do, and that's a way you can show your gratitude and your support, your thankfulness for what they did, what they sacrificed. In the past, I've had people come up to me and they approach me and they say, "Well, hey, thanks, Matt. Thanks for serving." And when I was a younger man, there would be times where I didn't quite know exactly what to say when someone said that to me. I'd say, "Oh, Matt, thanks for serving." And as I really thought about it and came to understand what it means to serve throughout my life, now I always have the same reply. Without any hesitation, I always reply, "It was my privilege to serve." So, this morning, I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Everyone was very respectful during these words, and I appreciate everyone's attention here this morning. So, if I could have my fellow veterans here stand up. If you can stand, please, just stand for a moment with me. Yep, that's fine. Yes. These men and women in this room this morning, they serve this country, they serve this community, and we're all here celebrating that service. When you leave here this morning, I want you to remember that, think about that, and remember to thank one of these veterans. So could we give them a hand, please? And thank you for your time. You can be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Gurrell. Abe Floor, TMS 7th grade student, will now read the story of the taps.
The bugle call known as taps is thought to be a revision of the French bugle signal called tattoo. In July 1862, Union General Daniel Adams Butterfield recalled the tattoo music and hummed a version to his aide, who wrote it down in music form. He ordered a bugler to play his new call at the end of each day. The music was heard by other brigades who adopted this bugle call